Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, my name is Monty Waldin. I'm with Francesco Marone Cinzano from Coldorce in Montalcino. Welcome.
Hello, Monty.
Okay, Francesco, just tell me a little bit about your family name. Cinzano obviously is a name that people will know. What is Cinzano? What was Cinzano? And what is your family connection to it?
Well, we can go back to the late 15th century in the surroundings of the city of Turin in northern Italy, producing wines and distilled spirits. Was licensed to sell to the capital city of Turin. And since then, my family, from father to son, we've been producing wines. Vermouth in the 18th century, sparkling wines in the 19th century, and so on. And then in 1973, we arrived in Montalcino at a time when Montalcino was almost unknown, even on the Italian market. And there we started a new adventure that has seen Montalcino become probably the best-known wine place in Italy these days. And I think we contributed to that. We contributed to distributing the wines from Montalcino, the Brunello around Italy, around the world, and contributed to making it famous.
So what you're saying is the fact that you came from your family company had a sort of international reputation. It meant that when you went into the market with your new Brunello wines, it sort of helped internationalize things.
That's right. Yes, we had the distribution network in Italy and overseas, and that helped to distribute. The first, in Montalcino, there are two wines produced, Brunello di Montalcino and Rosso di Montalcino. And the first international medal, won by a Rosso di Montalcino in Brussels in 1978 was from Coldorce.
Okay, so just explain the difference for those who don't know. What is Brunello made from? What's the name of the grape? And what is the difference between Brunello di Montalcino and Rosso di Montalcino?
What makes Montalcino special is the fact that we're allowed to use only the Sangiovese grape. If we want to write the word Montalcino on the label, the law of the state of Italy mandates only Montalcino, only Sangiovese grape, nothing else but Sangiovese. And we have a younger wine from the Sangiovese vineyards called Rosso that can be released 1 year after harvest. And then the Brunello. Brunello has to be aged at least 24 months in wooden barrels, and then has to wait in the bottle until the 5th year to be released. So a wine that has a lot of aging potential.
Now, you're one of the larger estates in Montalcino. Whereabouts are you located? Because there's the hill in the middle, there's the northern part of Montalcino, then the hill, and then the southern part. Which part are you in?
We're on the southern side, facing southwest, so in full sun all day long until sunset. And we're actually the point of Montalcino closest to the sea, closest to the Mediterranean coast. So very much influenced by sea winds and by the coastal weather.
Okay, now you're also one of the largest organic producers in Italy, and you're the largest in Montalcino as well. Why did you make that choice?
It came as a natural evolution in our work of research and development in the vineyard, trying to obtain the maximum quality. We understood that it all hinged on the balance of the vineyard, the balance of the vines with the environment. And so to achieve that, it led us naturally towards sustainability and eventually to organic practices. And so in the year 2010, we decided to start the procedure for certification, and since 2013 we are now certified organic.
So you're not an organic fundamentalist, you're an organic realist, and you did it for quality rather than for philosophy.
You cannot divide the two. I think you have to apply some strict. There are strict rules. You have to be a little bit extremist to a certain extent. Also because you have to understand that the vineyard by itself cannot survive. It is the ecosystem, it is the biodiversity of the surroundings that allow you to practice the organic farming. If you don't take care of the habitat around the vineyard, then you cannot achieve healthy grapes with organic farming.
So do you have any animals on the estate, or birds or anything like that, to increase your biodiversity?
That's an area I need to develop further, but we are bringing back farm animals, especially chickens. We have now 2 chicken houses on the estate next to the orchards and with fruit trees, and we're looking at bringing back sheep in the vineyard and the surrounding fields as well.
So, I mean, would you be able to milk those sheep for cheese like they do in Pienza nearby the Pecorino cheese, or would they end up on the dinner plate?
Dinner plate. We have big refrigerators.
Okay.
Plenty of space.
Is Brunello a good match for lamb?
Brunello is a great match for lamb, a great match for game generally. I'm not too strict about pairings of wine with food. I believe that recipes that contain the aromatic ingredients of the Mediterranean bushland, so like rosemary or sage or fennel or all the different aromas of the Mediterranean wood are suitable, and you can find them in the wine if you cook a recipe of tortellini with butter and sage. Well, you will find the sage in the aromas of the wine, and so pretty liberal on the on the pairing side.
Okay, so I mean, sitting in front of me here, you're very, very smartly dressed in a very fine suit. You are bearded, but you're not a weirdy beard. You're not an organic fundamentalist. However, you are at the forefront of developing Montalcino as what in Italian is called a bio-distretto, or a sort of environmental place, environmental area. How does that work? Is it just wine growers, or are you trying to get everybody involved?
Well, one unique fact about Montalcino is that although it is arguably the most famous wine municipality in Italy, only 15% of the land is planted with vineyards. So there is a large proportion of the municipality that's either used for other crops or it's woodland, and this is an opportunity, and that's why we're talking about a Montalcino bio, biological, because it is all that Montalcino can produce, from grains to breeding animals, fruits and vegetables, and so on. We want to bring value to all the aspects of the Montalcino offer, or of the Montalcino product. Even tourism is a product, so we need to develop better infrastructure for walking, for bicycles, for horse rides, for all kinds of activities, and of course our agricultural products. So all-encompassing project of making Montalcino a beacon of sustainability for the future.
Now, you also make one very unusual one that's quite rarely found, Moscadello di Montalcino. Just explain a bit about the history of Moscadello, because a few years ago it was seen to be the grape or the wine star, and then it changed to Brunello. Just explain that to us a little bit, if you can.
In history, and we're looking back 500 years and more, in late Middle Ages, in early Renaissance, Montalcino found itself on the way, on the road for the pilgrims to Rome. And it was famous for its wine. But the wine that made Montalcino famous in those days was not red wine. It was a sweet Moscadello, a late harvest, made with the white Moscato grape. Only very few grape growers are still using that grape in Montalcino, less than 10, and still producing the historic wine that was even exported to Paris in the Renaissance.
Tell me about your top red Brunello wine. You have a single vineyard one. How old is the vineyard, and why is it so special?
The single vineyard, Brunello di Montalcino Riserva, it's called Poggio al Vento, the windy height, a hill, a ridge that's characterized by sandy soil, or at least with more sand than the rest of the estate and the rest of Montalcino. Quite alkaline, it used to be a former seabed, so it has a lot of fossils, a lot of little shells, and that release calcium, which is very limestone, as you call it, beneficial to the quality of the wine, and delivers very silky and fine tannins that make for a wine of great ageability and great elegance.
Okay, final question is, what is your next challenge?
Well, I I'm a farmer, and I believe we don't own the land. We just care for it and have to leave it in the best conditions for the future generations. So handing it over in the best possible condition to the next generation.
Francesco Marone Cinzano, thank you very much for entertaining to talk to you. I look forward to eating one of your chickens at some stage in the future. Thank you.
Okay, looking forward to sharing it together.
Follow us at Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook.